Today's episode is with our tallest guest yet. He's a longtime friend, mentor, business partner. He's got a great story, a fun perspective, and I really enjoyed today's conversation. Today's episode is with G Patel. Well, part of your look is dressing up, though.
It is.
That's what people know you as. Every time that I talk about you to someone else, one of the first things they say is, "He always looks so nice," or "He's always dressed up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's
just another thing for you.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you showed up from the basketball game today wearing like a nice fit.
I mean, dude,
you look great.
I mean,
that's why I stepped it up today.
Oh, perfect.
I have my one suit on.
I think you wore my son's tie, but it's okay.
So I'm getting ready today, and I'm like, damn, I got to dress up because G's coming in, and I got to dress to impress. And one of the things that you told me, I think it was you, is like wearing a suit is a sign of respect to the person you're with, more so. Did you say this to me? I don't know if this is
probably.
your fault.
A lot of times I say shit that I don't remember. That's why I have to write everything down.
But anyways, I was getting ready today and I was looking in my closet. I don't have any ties. I literally have no ties. So I messaged John. I'm like, dude, do you have ties?
So is that what all those ties are in the front? Oh my God. I mean, you could have just told me I would have brought you a tie.
I know. Well, you were plan B, but I was like, damn, I just told you I'm wearing a suit. And then my next message is going to be, I don't have any ties for this suit.
I'll get you a t-shirt that's got like a tie drawn in it, so you don't need it.
That's right. I should have got the t-shirt. That would have been amazing. No, so that was our plot today for you.
Perfect.
Man, so I want to dig into where you came from because I feel like that's so different than a lot of the people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. Honestly, you might be one of the few people who I see consistently that has actually immigrated to America. Now that I think about it.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think I know a lot of people who were born
in
other countries. I know like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
But anyways, so India is where you grew up.
Yep. Born and raised, man. Born and bred.
Where in India?
Gujarat. It's like not small. So I grew up in a small village. But Gujarat, I mean, the easiest way to describe it, it's like the part that juts out.
Yeah.
Right in the map. So it's just like central west.
Yeah.
Right? It's predominantly all farmland, right? I mean, that's what Gujarat is comprised of, or used to be comprised of. Yeah. Now it's everything that's there. It's just it's been a while since I've been. So, and even when I go, I'm not like, I wonder what's going on. So I go see my family, I do the weddings, and then I'm back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I do want to go spend some more time there because it's completely shift from, 30 years ago.
I know.
Right?
Well, what was the place you grew up like? Like, what did it look like?
So I always use a funny analogy, especially like we're in a, like a bar or restaurant or like in, a conference or area, whatnot. Yeah. And most times there's usually 50 to 100 people where we're at. And especially having a conversation with somebody, it's like, I was like, where did you grow up? I was like, there's probably about same amount of people that I grew up with in this room,
This was my whole town.
It was. Yeah. I mean, it was spread out. It was about like a 10-mile radius, right? Yeah. I mean, it seemed very, very big. But I mean, there was just a handful of families that kind of just stayed there for generations. But, if I had to peg it, I mean, I would say around 100, but 150 on the high side for sure.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I mean, that was my world.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could run around for free.
Yeah,
like, and your parents wouldn't know. I mean, they wouldn't care. It's like, oh shit, is my kid gonna get abducted? Right? Yeah, it's just like
wasn't even in your mind.
Yeah, it's a small, big community.
Yeah. What was a normal day in the life? Like, what were you doing in a given day down there?
Oh man,
because you were going to school probably.
Yeah. I mean, when I wasn't terrorizing people, and normally
running around.
Yeah, I mean, in my early
ding dong ditching people.
It's like, I know who you are. But we don't have ding dongs.
You could be one of like 10 kids.
Yeah, exactly. But like the earliest memories I have growing up, right, is obviously walking to school, right?
Okay.
When we talk about poverty and kind of what impoverished environments here are. And I was like, not really, man. You know, you talk about, you know, running water or running power or automobiles, right? None of that stuff existed.
That's crazy.
Right, growing up. Like, to me, it was just, it was, how would I best describe it? It's like a camp. Right.
Oh, interesting.
Like here, like if you went to a
summer
wilderness,
camp where you like walk to the to the waterfront, then you walk to the amphitheater, and then you're like,
oh shit, we gotta cook. I don't know. Let's go hunting or something. And like it sounds really archaic and ancient, but that's that was my upbringing, and it was awesome, right? I mean, it was freedom
for sure
in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like back to our roots of how we can't, like how humans came up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've said this, I think, too, in over the years, is that, you know, that itself has given me, I think, my strength, right? Ability to know really where I come from and what it's really like to be on the flip side of the coin and have opportunities. So everything that I get to enjoy, right? I take a really good pride in it, because
for sure
that's still very apparent in like my foreground. It's not like, oh, whatever. I mean, I'm gone, but like that was my upbringing, right? I mean, that roots you. That's who you are at your core.
I mean, was it like all hands on deck in the family to get stuff done? Whether it was like, I mean, farm related or chore related or like.
Yeah, I mean, so I went to school, right? I mean, so I would go to school in the morning, and then
would that be similar to like a young, you know, American kid going to school where it's basically all day?
No, dude. I mean, yeah, it's all day, all day thing for real. But I mean, I recall leaving the house around 7:00, right? And there were certain parts of, you know, the year where I would have to probably go earlier, because I was pretty stupid as a kid, so I had to get extra tutoring, you know.
Gee, now you got to get walking at 6:30 a.m.
Exactly. So you got to go to the principal's house so he can tutor you.
Oh, damn! Wow.
Yeah. So the principal, I mean, like, dude, it's 150 people, right? So everybody's related somehow.
That's just fascinating to me of thinking about like this on that scale. Like, it's just such a different dynamic.
So the principal is my dad's uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was like, and like, so I had to be the best kid. Like, I had to do the best. If not, I would get my ass beat constantly.
Uncle's coming over for some extracurricular activities. Gee.
So, you know, I'll walk into school, going there, you know, prayer in our culture is a big thing. So things would start with prayers. And then it's not like you hop from class to class. I mean, from my kindergarten to 5th or 4th grade, it was literally probably I don't even have to describe it. This is
this is like 1,500 square
1,500
feet?
square feet.
This whole thing.
My classroom was about 200 square feet, if that.
No way.
Yeah. And
so your whole school was like in a building this big?
I would probably, this building itself for sure.
Yeah.
And that was from like 1st grade to 8th grade.
This whole like.
So the whole building.
Damn.
I mean, granted, we had a lot of, you know, outdoors area. But from a classroom setting standpoint, I mean, there was a chalkboard, and I can't even recall. I think the teacher had like a chair that she could sit into. There's like a table. So we all sat on the ground.
On the ground.
Yeah, and then she would write stuff on, and then we would have our chalkboard slates, right?
Oh yeah.
There's no paper and pen.
Yeah.
So like we wrote it with chalk, and then like that's where you did your work, and that's what your homework.
Yep.
And then you kind of showed it to the teacher.
Whoa.
There was no like books.
Now, did you take the chalkboard home and you'd have to like scheme up some stuff overnight and bring it back in, or was that all?
No, I mean, a lot of the work, actually, now that I think about it, we didn't have that much homework because I would just goof around afterwards, right? It's like, I don't recall having much homework at all, because like the teaching was pretty intuitive, and like it was all taught to you. It's like, so I don't recall taking homework back home.
No. Yeah. But were you learning, was the subject matter of the classes similar to like what your kids are going through?
Hell no. No, 0%. I mean, I think math is really enforced, right? Math was a big, I still recall, because when I moved here, I didn't know English worth a shit. Yeah. So I traded my math homework for my English homework. Because like math is really like, I mean, I think
hustling
I was
on the school bus with the homework.
So here you go, do my spelling stuff. But I mean, so it's like we really got taught I mean, a lot of math in school, and I think history was a big component of it as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But science and all that stuff doesn't really start coming until middle grade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, math is like really
the focal point.
Like, so now I think about it, I was like, I never really thought about it until now. I was like, oh shit, no wonder we're always good at numbers and math. It's like it's drilled into you at a young age.
6 hours of multiplication tables and addition.
Yeah, that's right.
Kids.
That's right. God forbid you get one wrong. The dusters come into your head.
The principal's going to tell daddy because he's at work with him right now. So then after school, I mean, outside of school, was it pretty relaxed, or were you doing other things as a part of the community?
So for most part, so we would have a break at around 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So then it's not like they have cafeteria and lunch.
No.
So you have to walk back home.
There you
right?
go.
So I would say probably my house is mile and a half.
Yeah.
But like as a 6-7-year-old kid, that's far.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd have to do that round trip twice a day.
4
times.
Round trip twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go to school.
Yeah.
Leave for lunch, come back.
Yeah.
And then go back home.
Yeah.
And God forbid if you have to take number 2. You know what I mean by number 2, right?
Yeah.
Take a shit.
Yeah.
You have to go home.
You had to thunder instead of rain.
You have to go
thunder
home.
was a home activity.
Yeah. You could only go pee at school.
Yeah.
Because like there was not like plumbing in place.
Man, can you imagine kids today would
it sucked, dude. Like you have accidents.
Yeah, but kids today would be doing that all the time. They'd be like, I'll see you guys in 2 hours. I gotta go home.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
I mean, and also like sometimes like they're like, no, you should have gone when you went to lunch.
Yeah, hold that thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So you should have came before when you came from home.
That's right.
It's like you can go at lunchtime.
Yeah.
So no, that won't work.
But you got to do the waddle the whole way home.
It's bad, dude.
Yeah. Man, that is so fascinating how that's different.
Yeah.
And then, so what age were you when the conversation turned to like, we're going to go to America?
9. I mean, it came out like quick, right?
Yeah.
So 1, I mean, we knew we would have the opportunity to come here at some point, right? Didn't really know.
Yeah.
Because it's all in government's hand, right? So when US says, hey, their visa call has came up, now they have to go through the interview process. And so once that interview process hits, then it's like a sprint.
Yeah. So
right?
wait, so was it like your family had been trying and then like finally they knew it was coming, or like how?
No. So the way we came through like, I want to say 4 generations of, I forget, like visas. So my mom came through my uncle. My uncle came through his wife's brother.
Whoa.
Which was like back in, I would say 50s.
Oh, damn.
Right? So he came here in the 50s where like Indians were allowed.
Yeah.
So he became a citizen. And then when you become a citizen, you can file for your immediate family.
I got you.
To join you.
Yeah.
So my uncle was like, I was smart. I just want to marry this chick who was going to India. I'm sure he told me that. So he got married very young. I mean, he was like 18, right?
Yeah.
So he got married then as soon as, because she was already on the docket to come to a U.S.
Okay.
So he came here, kind of established himself. I mean, this was in early 70s.
Yeah.
And then once he became a citizen, he filed for my mom and them.
I got you.
Right? I think, which was like in 80s.
So there's sort of a domino effect of once one, you can kind of carry it into the others.
So then like, I think he filed for us in like 1980 or something, like 1981. She got married, had me in 1983.
Yeah.
And then our visa came out in 1993. So it was like 10 years later.
Oh, wow.
Right.
But
So
y'all kind of knew that timeline was planned, or was it just after it hit, you're like,
it's the government, dude. Is there a timeline?
Yeah. Do you ever really? Yeah. Just
City of Raleigh. Hey, I need a permit. Oh, well, sure.
They remind him a couple times.
Right.
Check in.
Hey, like I'm around the corner if you guys need anything.
Yeah. Come over.
Waiting
tomorrow.
outside.
Knock.
Yeah.
So was it exciting?
It was, it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, to me, it's like, okay, 1, this is the first time I actually get to go to a city like Mumbai. First time I get to get in a plane.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like headphones? What the hell are those? Like I saw this, like, whoa, this is cool shit.
Yeah.
You know? And so we flew in British Airways, I remember. And I was like, And they had like these small TVs, which is like,
in the back of all the,
that's like a projector when you're a kid, right? And we've never seen one before.
The ratio
like, I just want to hang out on the plane.
Screen. Yeah. Can we stay here forever?
Yeah. So
and they give us snacks.
Right. Food. Like back then, they used to actually give you food on the plane, even if you were in economy.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like, here's some crackers.
Yeah. You guys want a cookie?
Yeah.
For this 12-hour
We just flew from Hawaii. That was like, I forgot how far Hawaii was, but wife, like we decided, like, you know what, we'll just fly premium, right? Like we got some leg room, is fine.
Yeah.
And like we're at the front header, so you can see the first class. And like they're serving out fruits and like trays of food. I'm like, can we get some shit back here? I mean, like we're only one row behind.
I can like almost touch it.
Yeah. But like it's so it's like it was because it was an experience. It was a full on experience back in the day when you flew, especially international. I mean, it's still now to an extent, but.
Well, you see the old photos and it's like everyone's dressed up. They've got their good outfits on. And it's like, man, okay.
Yeah. Well, you actually dressed up to travel. Now, like, I may just make fun of my wife. She always fucking puts on her joggers. I'm like.
Athleisure.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like going out, go with a homeless person. Nothing wrong with homeless people. I'm just saying, you know, it's like, please come on, baby. We're like, we're going somewhere nice, you know, put some effort into
I'm chilling.
it.
I'm leaning back.
No, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not doing shit.
I just want to sleep on this plane.
Right.
So you guys get over here, and how did you have something set up when you got here, or?
So we actually, because I mean, we didn't this was like first, I guess, intercontinental overseas travel, right? So we made stop in England because my dad's aunt lived there and she had been established and he had cousins there. So we spent a few weeks there, which like England, I was like, oh my God, this is just insane. Right. I mean, and now I look back to it. I mean, Bradford is a interesting little town, but like you look back like now comparatively like, oh my God, that's a shithole. But like, I mean, they established himself there, right? And to me, it was just a whole different world. And I was just
you're experiencing so many new things so quickly at that point. Like I went to the city, I got on a plane, now I landed somewhere. And I came from.
I didn't even know where England was.
Yeah, well, I don't know where I am in the world.
I know I'm going to America.
I used to walk to class. And now I'm like cars and.
You got a taxi picking you up, dude.
Yeah. But your family, so you had family in these places and you're kind of like, that'll be our stepping stone as we get over to America.
Yeah. So typically when you come to that process, the person who filed for you is technically your legal guardian, right? Even if you're adult. So because you have a green card, so you're not an established citizen, but you're working your way to a permanency. So somebody has to be held responsible if shit goes wrong.
I see.
Right.
Sign here.
So you spent some time in England, hung out, and it was super cool. It was just really fast. I mean, one memory I have. So like a lot of the Indians in the UK own, they call it shops, right?
Okay.
Which is, lack of a better term, convenience stores without the gas.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So
little marts.
Yeah, little marts. You can get a newspaper, you can get food there, you can get candy, you can rent out videos.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I got to England, I was like, I go into my uncle's shop, like, holy shit, they have all this crazy candy and like movies. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
They got TV. I can just go sit. Dude, I watched every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like series that was there because it was all there.
Chilling in the back of the market watching.
Yeah. So I mean, and then obviously I hung out with my family and cousins, but that was a memory that still sticks with me because I was watching a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, my son, a few days ago. I was like, this shit's weird, dude. I want like the old VHS tapes back, you know?
Yeah. No, the new cartoons don't hit like the old ones.
Yeah,
the old ones are so good.
But and then we came to. I mean, then a few weeks later we came to US, and it happened to be like. The school season was just starting, right? So we got here August 31st, 1993.
Yeah.
Right? Vividly remember that date.
Wow.
That's when we got to America. Yeah. And then school starts I think it had already started, actually. The school already started. So my uncle already enrolled us in school.
Yep.
So like I think we had a couple of days off, and the next thing you know, we're like, okay, we're going to school. So, you know, and I love my uncle. I mean, I owe him a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of really took care of us and got us. Because like when you come to a different world, we came here with 8 bags. That was it, right? With all our clothes, everything and anything, clothes on our back and 8 bags, right? And that's family of 4.
That's crazy. Were your parents like, I can't even imagine. Like, we're about to uproot, transplant.
Right. My parents were my age when a little younger, when we came here, right? I mean, and my mom was just a homemaker, right? She took care of the household, and like culturally, that's just how it's set up in those small villages. And my dad was a farmer. Yeah, like didn't have any skills. Right. Didn't have any profession.
Exactly.
So you're here.
Yeah. Manual labor was his.
That's it.
His
manual labor. Yeah.
So first day of school, like, dude, you roll up in there?
No, I don't roll up in there. I'm starting to walk. Like, I'm going to school. They're like, where are you going? I was like, to school. I'm walking. Like, which way is it? It's like, no. The bus comes and gets you. I was like, what?
The bus.
So I was like, just waiting around, twiddling my thumbs on a fucking big old yellow, stretched limo just rolls up on four wheels.
Man, I was tore up on the first day of school, and I knew where I was going. I was like, you got the outfit laid out, you got new, like, I was stressed out. I can't imagine how you felt on the first.
Go with the flow, bro.
Really? So you were pretty chill about it?
Yeah. I mean, dude, you don't know shit. You're just like, okay, whatever. I mean, I'm here. I'm in America, right? They got water.
Like, that's just your mentality. It was different, but you had also lived a totally different type of life.
Completely different.
Like a lot of I was talking about this with Jake G Money the other day, and we were talking about it in the idea of sports and how, like, as a young kid, as wrestling, you're put in positions where you kind of have to be on your own and figure it out.
Right.
And we were talking about it in terms of making weight, but for you were so young and you had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, you were on your own walking to school. Like, there were moments where you just had to, like, it was you v you to get it done.
Yeah.
So when you came over here, I imagine that was.
I mean, like, you start building resilience at a young age.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the, I think, things that I've touched on with you is, like, so there's seasons in India, right? Like right here today, it's just raining.
Yep.
Like in India, like when it rains, it fucking rains for like months, right? And just because it rains for months, that doesn't mean the school stops.
Yeah.
So you don't have proper sewage, right? So the water rises. So the water's like up to your chest. Guess what? You still got to go to school.
You're going to school.
So you're walking through, chest high water.
That's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
With a book bag on your head to school. Got a spare pair of, like, clothes. I had like 2 pairs.
Yeah.
Flipped all the one out. Left all the one dry. Yeah. T-shirt number 2 goes on. All right, let's go to school. Right?
That's different. Yeah. So when you came over first day of school, it was pretty much like, all right, like, I'm just going to see what this has in store for me.
Because I didn't know what I was going into, but then like we go to this class and it's like got desks. I'm like, oh shit,
this is nice.
But it was really difficult at the same time, right? Because one, I didn't know the language.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. I was like, how were you even understanding what they were trying to tell you?
Well, so sometimes, as I said, God's like shoved a horseshoe up my ass. I just get lucky, right? So like I have my cousin who was similar age to mine, right? Who was a prick at that time, and he knows it. If he hears that, mito. But anyways, so I just followed him around like his little shadow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right? So I was like, okay, wherever he goes, I go, and that's it. Yeah. And then, like, can you imagine when you're a 10-year-old kid how annoying that can be?
Oh my gosh.
So like now I know why he was an asshole. Because I'm like, God, dude, get away from me.
Was he giving you like little translations and like?
The only thing he did was give me wrong answers on the test. No, it was really nice to have him, right? Because like end of the day, like I knew, like, as long as I kept an eye on him, I'm not getting lost.
Yeah. Spotting him, checking him. Yeah.
So I mean, got here in 5th grade, and Miss Judy Monroe. God, I have such a soft part. Like,
soft place in your heart for her. Yeah.
That's the one. See? Yeah. Right. She didn't teach me English. But I would literally go outside of school, outside the class, and I'd watch Sesame Street like for half of the day. Well, because how is she going to teach English to a kid who doesn't understand ABCs, dude?
Yeah. Well, so I was going to ask, Sesame Street was teaching you then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally how I learn English, watching Sesame Street.
No way.
Yeah.
for a few hours a day.
A day. Then his math time's like, all right, bring it on.
I got you. I got y'all on this one. Everyone behind me.
Yep.
In front of the line. Get in line, boys.
So yeah, during math time, I would come in, and then for most of the time, I just recall watching Sesame Street.
Yeah. Were there any like weird cultural things that you had to get in tune with between, like in school, the dynamics between kids, like even with the adults? Like, I mean, prayer's not a part of.
Well,
American,
you still did
the Pledge of Allegiance would have been the
right?
thing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I recall doing that, which I'm like, what are we doing? Because I don't have to say it.
Yeah. You're looking around, looking at cousins.
Okay, one hand here, one hand there. Just follow the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's didn't really know. But, as a kid, you really pick things up rather quickly.
Yeah.
But 5th grade and 6th grades were tough. Right?
Was it tough to make friends?
Nah, I don't know. I mean, I still remember my friends' names. I think they were my friends. But the one guy that I'm definitely still friends with, Justin Cosgrove, right? I mean, he was one of my first friends when I moved here. I still talk to him. Yeah. Not on a normal basis, but we still stay connected and
for sure.
With his family and whatnot. So Eric Beeman was another one. Who's some other one?
But those were kids that it was just easy to build like a kid relationship with.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, you're playing not dodgeball, but what's the thing when you hit the ball and it goes around the pole?
Oh, what's that thing called? What is that? Tetherball.
They're tetherball. And like, think about a 10-year-old aggressive kid who don't know shit. I'll take it out on that ball. I'm winning.
Oh yeah, that ball. Yeah, you go off.
That
on
ball
that
got
ball.
it.
You're trying to get the kid on the other side.
Right. She's like, oh, this kid's good. I want him on my team.
Yeah. Yeah, those kid relationships are just built around who you playing games with.
That's it.
It's low key.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, 5th and 6th grade were tough. But after coming out of that, learning the language, it got a little easier.
What was your family doing while you were figuring it out at school?
Cleaning hotel rooms, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, so my uncle had a hotel. So my parents, got a job working for him as soon as we got here. And that was like, so we went to school. They went to go clean rooms.
Yeah. That was the foundation.
That was it.
Yeah. Man, interesting. So what was the morale like in your family when this is happening? Are you guys like excited? Does it feel like you're figuring it out together? What was the conversation like between all of you when you would come back home?
For most part. So one, let me paint the picture real quick. Okay. This is how much of a saint my uncle and my aunt are.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a family of 4. So my uncle, aunt, their 2 sons, right? My grandmother, grandfather. Yeah. So that's 6, right? Then it's us 4.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a big squad.
For the time being, I forgot to tell you that my mom's other sister got the visa at the same time. So there's another 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheesh.
So
14 people.
14 people.
Yeah.
Right. Guess how many bedrooms?
I'm going to say 3, 4.
2.
2.
Guess how many bathrooms?
1.5.
1. So when people when my daughter,
you had the same policy as
I was like, hey man, you better get on the board, get the shower, right? And like during the weekdays,
number 2's at school. You ain't doing that at the house. We got too many people lined up. Yeah, baby, take that out of here.
Yeah. So I mean, it was hectic, but I mean, it just flowed.
Yeah.
Like my cousin Mito and I were talking. I was like, how the hell did we do that? Like, I don't remember it ever being like, an issue.
Wow. Was it might have had something to do with how you guys even just grew up back in India, right? Did it almost feel like you're living in your own like village in a way?
Village, yeah. I mean, it was never like, oh my God, I can't believe the bathroom's not available. Like, I don't ever, maybe sometimes. Yeah. But like, and granted, like if shit got really bad, literally, I mean, my uncle had 19-room hotels, so we could just, but like, then you got to clean that room.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it was really cool, man, growing up, even in US, right? When we came back here. My wife always says this, but she's like, we were really sheltered. Like, even as, like, now moving to America. Okay. Like, I didn't really I wouldn't say blossom, but start exploring. I mean, I grew up on the beach. I grew up in Morehead City. Yeah. Guess how much seafood I ate?
No.
Fucking 0.
None.
Guess how many times I went to the beach? Couple of times.
Really?
Yeah. Because weekdays was school, weekends was hotel.
That's right. Because all hands on deck.
That's it. All hands on deck because it was busy, right? Yep. All Raleigh was coming to Morehead City. So we had to get the rooms ready.
Dang. That is fascinating. So, and the interest in not going was just you had no time, or like culturally it just wasn't even.
Yeah, I mean, dude, have you, as a kid, like, you know, you go to school and then you clean hotel rooms starting at like 8 a.m. until like 4 p.m. Yeah. Like, I'm good, man. I'm
gonna go watch Teenage
I'm just gonna lay on the couch.
Turtles.
Exactly. It wasn't like, oh my God, why can't we go to the beach? It was like, it was never a thing for us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, so that childhood is so fascinating to me. And I guess after you learned the language, though, it felt very natural. I mean, at what point did you feel like you really got... I mean, it sounds like you were already in flow, but was there a point where you felt like, hey, this is really working well now? Like, I feel like this is... I'm locked in now.
No. I don't think that ever comes.
Yeah. No.
As an adult sitting here right now, I was like, am I in flow? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel like I felt, I would say independent, right? Probably when I moved to Raleigh.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I was like 15 and a half, 16, kind of got my own apartment.
Yeah.
I had a job. I was making my own money. I could do whatever I want.
At 15 and 16?
16, yeah. I moved here when I was 16.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. My time,
fresh out of high school? Or
right out of high school.
Yeah.
Right out of high school. Came straight to Raleigh.
And that was, go get it, G, do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, I told him I was supposed to go to state, you know, and then end up going to Wake Tech for a first year. And after that first year, I mean, I was working. I tried to get a job.
Yeah.
Well, I think we talked about this. Then fucking Blockbuster wouldn't give me a job, and I got really pissed.
I'm what happened at Blockbuster?
Well, because I was working at Blockbuster when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And like, I still remember our number, 237. You can fact check this, 237-717-078.
That's employee code.
Employee code at Blockbuster.
To sign in, start tracking hours.
Numbers, dude. It's math, right?
I was made for this.
Yeah. So I was like working there for, I think, a year and a half or so. I was like, I had experience. I knew what I was doing. And then didn't get hired. And so then I was like, oh, shit. Olive Garden wouldn't hire me because it just didn't have the look, I guess. You know?
Serving up breadsticks.
What do I do now? Sweet tomatoes it is. So I bust tables out sweet tomatoes, man.
What happened at Blockbuster? Why didn't they hire you?
I wasn't pretty enough, I guess. And
didn't you try to get them on that or something?
I did. Yeah. I sued them for fucking. I call the equal employment office. I'm like, there's no way that cute girl who's Caucasian got a job over me. There's no way she's more qualified.
Yeah, because I've been working at this place.
Yeah, because I know this shit. So they're like, yeah, we already hired him. I'm just like, how? I was like, I applied at the same time. Yeah, I know you guys had opening. I didn't get an interview. So it's like, Mr. Patel, we just advise you to take the $1,000 that they're giving you and just be done with them. Like, okay, I'll take $1,000.
Oh, so Blockbuster paid you out?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's a come up on as a 16-year-old. $1,000.
I paid for like 4 months rent, man.
Yeah, living large.
Back then.
That means you take everyone to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Like breadsticks are on your boy today.
Give me some Lambrusco Reunite, that red wine. The sweet one.
The finest. Bring your finest to Olive Garden.
So, yeah, I mean, and then kind of just worked at Sweet Tomatoes and, you know.
Yeah.
Bus tables. Worked at Structure. You don't even know what that is.
No, these places, I wouldn't even know. This
Structure is fucking Express now.
Okay. The times have changed.
Yeah. So the parent company, I forgot what the parent company was, but it was called Structure, which was just for men's.
Yeah.
And then that transitioned over probably back in 2003, 2004.
Man, every time I've seen you, I feel like over the last 3 years since we've really been jamming together, you've always had a journal with you. When did that start for you?
That's a great question. As long as I can remember. Yeah. Like I just have a habit. Right now we're just talking, right?
I mean, you walked in and you're like, can I have this journal?
I need it because there's something that will come up that I got to write down.
Yeah.
It's just an innate thing. Yeah. But I've always enjoyed writing things down because how frustrating is it when you had a thought or you talked about something or you committed to something or you promised you would do something And then you're like, shit, what was that?
Oh yeah, exactly. That's it's super annoying.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I try to remove the annoyance out of my life as much as possible. Life is already complicated as it is. I don't need it more complicated. So I just had a tendency of just writing things down, and it's a great way. And I didn't even know it at that time when I started this process that how beneficial it would become for me at a later on years down the road.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to think back. What is my first? Like, I mean, definitely have an echelon journal for sure.
Yeah.
And that was years ago.
Oh, for sure.
So I would always write things down.
When you started really kind of bringing more responsibility, or like,
right.
That's when you're like, okay, I need something to.
I'd probably say if I had to peg it, probably about 10, 15 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
And I mean, I've lost some, but I mean, I still have, like, I can go back and recall. I always keep them.
So it started out primarily as I got to stop forgetting shit.
Yep.
But I feel like it's become more than that for you.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure. Because now it's just like there's so many like amazing things that are said or things that happen that, you know, it's out of sight, out of mind. If you write it down and then just go back and just even a glimpse of it. I wish I had the books right now. We could just probably open one up. It's like, oh, look at here, this one, right? And I found that to be very rewarding for myself, right? It might be a quote, or it might be something that somebody said, or it might be something that I might have said that I wrote it down or thought about, an idea, a concept, or a thought. It's not just a to-do checklist, right? I mean, you have Monday for that, but But this is just for me to just whatever comes and I feel at that moment, I write it down.
How often are you, I guess, sort of reviewing, or I mean, auditing, and not necessarily the right word, but like going back through stuff?
I think when I need to come up with something that's authentic and that's genuine to me, I go back to it, because if it didn't strike a chord, at that time, I would never wrote it down. Right.
I see.
So then I'm able to kind of weave in and out of time and what that meant for me at that time. Right. And why.
What value do you feel like it's brought to you beyond, you know, initially, like you said, keeping track of things? How has it really either changed how you're going through life or how you're experiencing life since you've been doing that?
Very easy.
Yeah.
You can see your growth. You can measure it.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine being able to measure your growth and you going back to the things you were trying to accomplish or things you were trying to do. Yeah. And then things you've done and where you're at.
It sounds like taking photos of yourself going to the gym.
It is.
You know.
Well, okay. I don't know.
But it's like,
I don't do the selfies at gym, but but pretty much.
Well, you see the progress. You get to go back and see, this is the snapshot of what I looked like.
I'm taking a picture of my brain at that time.
Yeah. So I love that.
That's really, I mean, I would say that's been really rewarding, right? Because there's definitely been times where I go back, I was like, I wonder what I was doing 3 years ago. Right. It's like, what was I really working on? And then you go back, it's like, oh shit, surpass that.
Here we go.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not just like monetary goals, like, oh, I want to get this bigger. It's just like simple things, like, God, I remember if I open it up, it would be on October 21st, 2019. Yeah. If I had to recall that date. Numbers again. It was simple as like, I want to meditate once a week. Yeah. Right? And like, I mean, it hasn't been that long. I mean, 2019 was 4 years ago? Yep. Right? But like now, like meditation is becoming like part of my daily routine. Yeah, exactly. And not like before, like trying to meditate for 5 minutes was like, taking a needle and like trying to poke myself in the eye, right? Just close your eyes. Now I can do it for a long period of time. Yeah. Right? Which is just amazing.
What are some other I want to get into that too, because I feel like you're very intentional about the things you're doing every day. What are other parts of your meditation? What are other parts of your day that are sort of essential to your operating?
Getting the important shit done in the beginning of the day. Because the way life works, especially in my world, it might not be for everyone, but like you just get pulled in many directions. And if you allow yourself to, which I do, because that's just, I enjoy that. I like helping people. I like to solve a problem, right? It doesn't give me the freedom to do that. Yep. if I don't take care of because then at that point you're behind the 8 ball constantly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, I can't do this right now. Right. So
you want to be open to be able to jump into it if something pops up or something comes your way. Well, I mean, going back to when you talk about 2019, it seems like you've sort of been on a mission of transformation in a way over, I mean, really kind of coincides with when we first started jamming together as well. I mean, what was the inspiration? Like, what were some of those things that made you start realizing like, hey, I do want to make some shifts, make some changes, start prioritizing new things?
I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but I mean, it was basically, I was at the point of where I didn't want to live. Like I had completely lost my passion. And when I said didn't want to live, like commit suicide, right? Yeah. Just cause I felt blah. There's a lot of financial turmoil that happened. There was a lot of like negative talks, how much, like imagine like you're going through a financial turmoil. You've been stepping up to the bat and then now you have constantly people taking a shit on you.
Yeah.
So it's like there's only so much you can, any individual can carry. It doesn't matter, sure, right? Yeah. So going through that part of it, and I'm not ashamed of it. It happened. It's what it is. But at that point, that was the inflection point for me. Is like, how? It's like, I mean, why would you want to do that, right? So something had to give. Yep. So just completely did a 180, right? And it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of time to get through that.
What was step one? What was the first thing that you were like, I'm going to do this now, or I'm going to start trying to improve this now?
The first step was just taking a pause and just sitting in it. Sitting in your own shit and just saying, what is this? Okay. Yeah. Like, it's really nothing end of the day. Yeah. Like, oh, some guy said this, some guy said that. Oh, the banker wants that money. Oh, the outliner was. Yep. Well, like, end of the day, it's all kind of, you have you. That's all you really need. Yeah. And that comes from sitting with yourself and just being present,
assessing and
being present. Just even that takes effort, right? So going back to the meditation standpoint, like I hired on. I mean, you know, Shannon, right? I hired on. I was like, dude, I don't know how to fucking improve myself. Yeah, I'm a doer, right? Put a task in front of me, I'll get it done. When it comes to yourself, I'm like,
yeah, 100%. I need some guidance here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Give me a little bit of a roadmap.
Yeah,
man. So, I mean, a part of that transformation, one of the things that's been that I'm fascinated by, I haven't done it yet, I'd love to do it, is ayahuasca. Yeah. That's been a consistent thing the last 2 years for you, right? You've done...
Yeah, it'll be my 3rd year. I was prepping for it right now.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, why? Initially, I'm just curious, like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why is because I constantly like to elevate myself of whatever I'm doing. Yeah. That's just innate in me. I figured out that like if I like to consistently perfect whatever my craft is, and if it's me as my craft, then how do I get that to a next level? How do I understand me better? How do I operate at the utmost integrity, the level that I believe that I can, right? And I simply started with just, counseling, right? Yeah. Because I've never been like, dude, we don't have fucking counselors in India. It's called a stick. You got to be with it. That's your counseling. You know?
From the principal.
Right, from the principal. But so it's like growing up, like there's so much baggage, let's just call it for lack of a better term, baggage that we carry that we don't even know. And we operate from that light because of those certain circumstances. And you're completely imbalanced, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm balanced, right? Because one, why the hell would I want to commit suicide? Yeah. Two is like, okay, there's got to be a way to recalibrate myself because I know who I was,
exactly,
right, and how I operated, right, for years, right? For sure. So that's not gone, but it's just got to take all the crap off of it. So I simply just started by committing. Well, my wife made me commit. It's like, you got to start taking counseling. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in. So that just going through those sessions and the questions that were being asked, that really kind of created a insight for me. Like, one, what was imbalanced, and how do I start recalibrating myself to be that person that I know I can be.
Yeah, right? yeah.
And I learned a lot. But human mind and subconscious is such a tricky little bitch, right? For
sure.
You can trick yourself. It's like, oh, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Right? Or no, I don't feel that way. I don't really feel that way.
Oh yeah.
So you can kind of, you can fake yourself out, right? From it. And not that I was, but I just knew that it was getting to a point. Okay. I've kind of, I wouldn't say reached the pinnacle of it, but like, I'm not going to get the accelerated growth that I'm really looking for.
Yeah.
So then I did a couple of other alternative, I would call it not alternative
medicine.
No, medicine.
Like alternative, like not ceremonies or healings or remedies.
Yeah. I mean, I guess remedies. Like, I mean, you could take hypnosis as like a different remedy.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
But what is the word for that? Alternative modality.
Treatments?
Yeah, treatments. Yeah. There you go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Alternative treatments, and these treatments included like, I mean, just doing past life regression, right, or going through HRP, and those were amazing because I was able to really dive into my subconscious and the things that surface. I'm like, oh shit, and there's things that your brain blocks out because of the trauma that it has, that you can't even go back to it. So being able to
treatments
unlock
were helping you kind of get in.
Well, it's just unlocking. You're basically kind of just opening up, as in the ayahuasca ceremony. So you opening up your heart, right? It's allowing you to be that happy, jolly, zero fucks given kind of a person, right? So doing that, and I was like, okay, well, this is great. I'm learning, and then I uncovered a lot of trauma that I had completely suppressed, that I forgot about, and I'm so thankful for discovering that, because without it, you can't heal something without knowing where it hurts, right?
Yeah. So you identify the things that could be addressed by this ceremony or by.
I wasn't. I mean, that wasn't even in my foresight, and I was just kind of just working on myself. Then whatever came. I mean, I had Shannon who was helping me. I had this counselor who was helping me. I had Celia who was helping me with HRP. I mean, I was stacking.
You were super intentional about that,
right?
Yeah.
And once I got to a point where I was like, okay, I understand. I know how I'm moving. Like, it's just you can feel your own rhythm and your own flow.
Yeah.
And I has a very interesting remedy that a lot of times if you don't understand it and if you don't know it, I highly recommend you stay away from it because it's such a powerful medicine that, dude, you don't want to fuck yourself up, right? I mean, I know individuals who went down it from on a recreational. I was like, I can do this, but like your subconscious and your mind is a powerful being.
It is, yeah.
And you have to be in the right mindset and able to kind of take in what's given you, right? If you're not there,
for sure,
you're just gonna go down the rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
So feeling that foundation and learning that I got a good foundation underneath me. I can stand steady. I know the things that the things that went wrong, how I want to resolve that. But then there were still other outlying questions that I couldn't get answers, right? And one was like, why the fuck am I the way I am? Meaning, why am I so driven? Right? Why do I have to be the best? Why do I have to go get it? Why do I have to get it done? And Aya gave me that answer. And that was one of my intentions, kind of just uncovering that, right? I mean, there's so much more, but the things you learn from it, it's like such a duh, you dummy. It's just, you just didn't give yourself the opportunity to learn that by sitting with yourself and kind of just.
Feels obvious.
Yeah, it was very obvious.
Yeah.
You know what the fucking answer was for me? It's like, why am I that way? Yeah. Because I left my inner child back in India. And then after that, I completely forgot who that person was. And I just started chasing the American dream. So I was trying to please the kid who was in India, who was broke, fucking walking to school, didn't have, but a couple of pairs of clothes, barely enough to eat. So I'm still, that inner child was still living in me. So you're trying to feed that child but you're not having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like, oh, yeah. So like now when I pray, like I sit with my inner child in it.
Interesting. Yeah. So it changed some of that internal conversation.
Trust me, it's trippy as shit. Yeah. Like, I mean, like the inner, like I still remember like my myself as an 8-year-old kid standing to the right of me. I'm looking at the stars and the moon. It was New Year's Eve of 2020.
Yeah.
Right. And the kid's like pouting. It's like, what the fuck are you pouting, dude? It's like, oh man, it's like, just like there was like a house on the hill. They were having a party. They're like, I just want to have like, you know, a party one day. And then like, I literally teleport myself to that house. For people who are listening or listen, I'm not fucking crazy. Trust me. So it's like, it's just, you have the ability to really transform time and space. Yeah. When you're on the medicine. So we literally get to the party and it's my present self having the party. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, we got everything. What the fuck do you need?
We're here. Yeah. We made it. Look at us.
Then I was like, and it's like the key in the lock just opened up. It's like, oh, you came here to tell me. It's like, hey man, you need to have a conversation with yourself a little bit more about where you were and where you're at and be at peace.
I like what you're saying about sort of preparing and going into it, because it's the difference of turning it into almost like a valuable experience versus like a crazy trip.
Yeah.
In a way. And like, seems like a lot of sort of the prep stuff that you were doing put you in a position for it to be a lasting impact versus a crazy experience.
Yeah. Because if I didn't uncover that, like it would have been really bad for me. Right? I mean, I've seen some shit when it goes on those journeys, because it takes you into places that you didn't even know existed. And if you don't know how to deal with it, it can break you.
I can imagine. Well, I sort of can imagine from other things, but what would you say to someone who's interested in doing it, like, or who would like to have that sort of experience, but like, where do you think they should start? It's because to me, it sounds like it's not just the let's go down and, you know, next weekend. Like, do you think it should start a month in advance, or like, how would you sort of run someone through that?
I studied this for a year before I even took a step towards it, right? I'm an avid, like, I'm not gonna get into something without me really understanding it, right? That's the inner Indian in me. It's like, I gotta understand everything before I do it, right? And I don't, not that I condone it, or what's the word? It's like, I'm not trying to push somebody or push away from it.
You're not trying to sell it. You're just,
for me, it's just like it just, as I say, you know, when you're in love, you're in love. Like when you need some Aya, she'll come to you, right? So it's like, just be patient, go with the flow, man, and everything kind of, you know, happens in a natural way of life as it should, right? Don't force it and think that, oh, I'm gonna go drink Aya and I'm gonna have all the answers. No, you're gonna be fucking more lost. So, like, have the base foundation figured out, kind of really set the right intentions and understand and be open. Like, I'm one thing that I'm proud of myself for is just being receptive and constantly being the child of like just craving knowledge and understanding, right? Understanding just not by yourself, but like how everything works. I mean, shit. I mean, how many times have we deviated? Like, Jeb, what about this? Like, what's your like? I'm just a curious individual, and that's just my inner child in me. Like, I'm constantly curious. Like, how does this work? Why does it work? And I was curious about the path. And before I took the medicine and, you know, decided to go in that route, like, I was just curious. Like, well, what is it really about, right? And what can it really provide? And the part of it is that, okay, well, it really helps you unlock your subconscious mind, where, you know, there's potential answers that you're looking for that you don't have. And it's like, okay, that's where I'm at, right? It's like there's things that I can't uncover still, so I'm willing to try this.
How did the experience change from the second time to the first time? Or from the first time to the second time?
First time was fucking intense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not that second time it wasn't. But just like anything else, like now once you have a kind of a understanding, right, how it's going to go, right? I mean, dude, the first time I went, I had no idea, like zero. I've never done any psilocybin. I've never done any kind of hallucinogens prior to it. So, like, you know, most people try a little bit of mushroom and microdose.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, fuck that shit. Yeah. Let's go straight to the top. You know? Quantum leap.
Not even a shroomy microdose free Aya session. Like.
So I was like, nah, I'm just going to go straight to the top and figure it out.
I didn't realize you hadn't done any other form of psychedelic before that. Dang.
Yeah.
So you were on the ride the first time.
I was, and I learned so much, man. I just learned so much, and the ability to take that weight off your shoulder and not, as I said, like, who are you trying to impress? Why are you doing it? Right?
Yeah.
If you know why you're doing it or why you don't have to do it anymore, like your shoulders just like drop, like the baggage just comes out like, oh, okay, I can move, and just learning.
Yeah. I mean, every time we've talked about after, it seems like it had a significant impact and you had a lot of takeaways from it.
Yeah.
Which seems like, back to what you were saying before, had a lot to do with the preparation going into it. So that's interesting to think about.
Second time, dude, I was literally talking to Mother Moon. So for individuals who follow me or know me, I have a really odd fucking schedule.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like today I got up at 3:00 and I just went at it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. That just happens. And
yeah, I want to loop back on that one, but I want to hear what you're about to say. Yeah.
So then I was like, and I was curious. I was like, why is it?
Yeah.
Why am I like, why does that happen?
Yeah.
Like most people were like, look at me, I'm like a fucking weirdo because I wake up at 2:30 and I'm like ready to go.
I know.
And
see the 4:30 a.m. Post from downtown. I'm like, this guy.
I was pre-planned. That was posted on whatever you guys
scheduled
use.
that one.
Yeah. But at my second time, man, I was sitting there. I felt like I was what's the word? I don't want to say a monk, but like it's just a studious young Buddha who's just ready to learn. I had my pillow out and I can still see the vision because I know the people I want. It's like, dude, you were just going ham on your notebook. And the moon was literally above me, right? So it's in the ocean front. So the moon's just shining. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just writing things. And one thing I learned a lot about is patience. And I'm still learning.
Yeah.
That's a story for a different time. Well, like
we
just
got
patience,
time. I can be plenty patient.
Forgiveness. I mean, all these fundamentals as you should understand and have as a human, like we don't practice those. And it really brought those to the forefront.
Yeah.
Right. For me. And then one of the things that came out, I was, yes, like in I will call it default world. Yes, I was fucking tripping balls. Okay. But when you're on the journey, as they said in the medicine world, like you're just taking in and like, and you can feel everything. That's the intense part about it. Like you can feel the trees breathing. You can feel the grass. You can see like everything is so intensified. You can feel the rays from the moon coming into you. And then I was like, wow. I was like, and then like everybody's like, kind of on this number, like more than I'm like, what's going on? And then it's like, holy shit. It's like, so, and again, this is just my belief, right? You can call me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But like sun has a way of giving you vitamin D and energy.
Okay. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that there's some sort of energy or a field that where my energy and like my body recharges from the moonlight.
Oh, interesting.
And then like it clicked to me because I was sitting in the moonlight and I was like, wow. It's like, how long have I been really waking up like this?
Yeah.
And where has the moon been? I can't make this shit up.
Okay.
So above my bed, I have I guess I'm gonna call it a moonlight window.
Yeah.
So when the moon hits, literally, it's like, think about a battery being charged.
Yeah.
Right? So the moonlight literally lights my bed from like probably 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
It hits it almost every night. Most of the time, obviously, depending on the lunar circle. And then when it's at its peak or when it's going down, I was like, the body just wakes up.
Yeah. That's wild.
Right?
Jeez. So you're like, connecting the dots on.
It is. So it's just like, okay, why does this happen? Okay, well, maybe this. Maybe I was like, oh shit. And then Mother Moon, I was having a conversation with her. Of course, who doesn't have a conversation with the moon?
Just another day talking to the moon.
She's like, I'm gonna give you the name, my child. Your name is Moon Gazer. And I was like, what? Okay, so I wrote it down in the notebook, of course. I'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
So look it up next morning. I couldn't make this shit up.
Okay.
So moongazer is a tall, mysterious man walking in the wilderness of the night at his height. I didn't even know what the word meant.
Yeah.
Right? I just wrote it down. So
Damn.
so things like that. It's like, so there it's
cool.
serendipitous. It's not just like, oh yeah, you're fucking tripping balls, so you're just making shit up. No, there's actually a mirror to it.
For sure. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, man, that's definitely on my list of things I'd like to try. But I feel like I've had that. For what you're saying stuck out to me, it's like, it feels like there has to be a preparation or even just like a natural calling in a way of like,
right,
the time is now.
If you tell me, G, hey, I want to do it, I will gladly have a months, if not weeks, or weeks, if not months long conversation on kind of just understanding like why do you want to do it? Like obviously I went for the first year, right? I went to the second year, I went to the third year. So I was like, well, why are you fucking going back? I was like, you already got all the answers. Not really, right? I mean, because it's a constant journey. You're constantly learning. Yeah. And not that I gotten all the answers and why am I like the way it molds me for the remainder of the year, right? And how sharp I can come back because one, the cleansing that happens right? The learnings that happen during.
Oh yeah.
And then the post integration that happens from everything that you learned. Dude, I'm a fucking ninja when I come back. Right? And I mean, 2022, right? I mean, you knew me all through 20. I mean, that was my best year of my life. Not the best event, like the best year. Like how I felt, how I approached things, who I became, how I became. I like it was that year.
Yeah, powerful year for sure. So. And you credit that to a lot of this just sort of transformational work you were doing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, for sure. I mean, it was about 2 years of work.
2019, then 2022 hit. Yeah. It had like a lot of that foundational work done to make that year really strong.
Right. So it wasn't like, oh, you take this and you're good to go. Yeah. I mean, there was years of work went to it prior to me even engaging in the ceremony.
Yeah. No, I mean, I got to give you your flowers on that one because it's inspiring to see someone do it.
Right.
And almost like meeting you, starting to work together, really see each other on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And then to take charge of those experiences, go through it from someone like me on the outside. Like, I'm like, damn, he really did that. Like,
yeah,
he's
went really fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's really crazy. Like, yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, no, so that's powerful, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been super inspiring, seriously. And this was so fun having you on the pod. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah,
maybe we can check in after the 2023 experience.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and that's the thing is like I got to start like really, really do my deep prep work. Yeah. I mean, I have probably about 4 more books I got to read before the 30th. Today's like the 18th. So
you'll start knocking out some chapters.
I know. And get on that treadmill.
That's right, man. Well, this was so much fun. We'll do it again.
Thank you, man.
All right, goodbye, everybody.